All set. Okay. Um, yeah, appreciate getting up early to bring the commentary. Yeah, this isn't as early as the previous match that I commentated, of course, which I woke up considerably earlier. This is a little bit more natural. All right. So the two players are getting started here. I think Piotr was actually available much earlier, and Anand very quickly plays judos. That looks like a great way to use that J, probably the only way he could score a ton. And Anand, that's, I was going to say, he's got aliases and he plays it before I can even say it. These are two players who, in my experience watching them in this event, um, play really, really fast and accurately too. So for those, and there's Grippier. That is a nice play by Piotr, a bingo, possibly his only one. Maybe he had some ing word somewhere. Um, but Anand with a bunch of consonants plays clog. It's back over to Piotr, and I think I wonder what he has here. Hey, so Rob, this is actually coverage of a pretty serious Scrabble event that I've been asked to do. So no chess at least today. This is a very very high level Blitz Scrabble event. Very excited to bring you the coverage of that today. I'm gonna try my best to stay on top of all of the action, but it's coming in very fast. Hey, Colin, nice to see you. Um, so, all right, it's a close game. Anand is up 20. It's Piotr's turn. He has a 7-letter bingo on his rack that I don't believe fits anywhere. Um, Wondering what he'll come up with in this position. He's going to want to undouble some of those letters, which he achieves by playing undi. That's a nice play. However, another nice looking rack here for Anand. Does he have anything? Um, Looking around, this looks like there should be a bingo, but apparently not. And he just dumps his H and O for a good score. So Anand in really good shape to bingo on his next turn. We'll see if he gets one down. And after a Z-bomb by Piotr gives him the lead temporarily, we're going to see Anand take it right back. Nice play with readies for 90, making that Zo hook. So this has been a very back and forth starting game. At some point, when we have a moment to catch our breath, we'll take a look at the bracket. This is the final match of the week. All other quarterfinalists have been decided. All 7 other matches that were scheduled for this weekend have been played. As we see, Piotr plays Wana opening up the board on the right side, and Anand plays Conch for 41 with a lot of consonants. Beautiful overlap. So Anand not worrying so much about the new opening on the right side of the board. Oh man, the racks are going different directions here as you see that Piotr scoring 37 with I and drawing all vowels as Anand has drawn a blank, the second blank. So we're definitely going to see this game looks like it is trending strongly in the direction of Anand Bharadwaj here. Yeah, sure enough, he's got a nice set of tiles here. He should be able to bingo in any number of places. And this first game looks like it for sure is going in the direction of Anand. So the only question is, where will he play? He's going to try to play something that gives back as minimal opportunities as possible to Piotr. We'll see where he ends up playing. The play of anti-red scores pretty well. It does put a letter in the triple lane, but the unseen tiles were so bad that it was very unlikely that Piotr would have a big threat there. Piotr plays in the upper right, probably to preserve some tiny chance of hitting a bingo through the tiles of anti-red, but Anand quickly closes down that D. So that should do it here. Anand up a ton of points. Just as a reminder, unlike traditional Scrabble play, because we are basically in a full-on match play portion of the event, really nice play there by Anand, setting up his other T for text there in a way that's kind of annoying to block. But But yeah, so yeah, he can't do much about that spot, and you see Anand just piling on the points here. But at any point, you may see players resign the game if they believe the game is out of reach. It is up to the players to decide whether they will resign a game. Spread, the difference between the winning and losing player's score, is no longer important here due to match play. So, all right, that's a win on the board for Anand. And again, neither player, Anand certainly came nowhere near going overtime in that game. I think he had over a minute left. So it's game 2 underway, and Piotr going first this time, and he quickly uses his J, just as Anand did in the first game. And let's see if Piotr spots his bingo. He has one here. He's got a bingo available. My guess is he will potentially find it. Nope, he missed pre-union. I believe that is a valid word. Got past him there through the R of junior. Oh, wow, I didn't even see. Yeah, thanks to Weibin in the chat. Nice to see you. Expressing displeasure with lack of cat cam, of course. Yeah, so both players missing bingos in the early going. Anand with a bingo of Lambada that got past him, and Piotr with pre-union on his play of unopened. So action continues. We see the Z go down there for Anand. Piotr with a slight lead, and he has the next move here in this game. So we'll see what... I wonder if I have the ambition to actually try and draw on this. Yeah, very, very brief respite there in as Piotr actually took a few seconds to make that move. It's back over to Anand. He has an S, and he gets rid of his least useful vowel, the U, and we'll see if he's able to convert that nice sleeve into a bingo. Back over to Piotr. I wonder what he will do here. Maybe just something like Weem in this spot right here alongside Azon. I'm not really sure if there could be a good overlap. Okay, that's what's played, but back over to Anand, and he has a beautiful overlapping bingo. One thing I'm noticing about Anand is he's really good at finding these heavy overlaps. He's played a bunch of them now, and it's frankly very difficult to do in Blitz. So... it's back over to Piotr. He's held the lead for pretty much the entire game. I expect him to play in this spot right here with his H if he's not able to bingo somehow here, and he does exactly that. I thought, wow, okay, there's definitely bingos available. Is there anything better than Boneyard through this O? I bet there probably is somewhere, but if he chooses to play that, it's going to make an enormous S hook at the bottom of the board. It might be actually better to play something else. Okay, so whether he saw that and opted against it, it was a great idea because there was an S ready to come down in this spot with a play like Glaves. So Piotr does play that in the upper left instead of what would have been an enormous play at the bottom of the board. Piotr takes a lead, 54 points. An X-bomb by Anand closes that gap. A lot of good bingo tiles, but not a great board on which to play them for Piotr. He's going to have to do his best to come up with a good score. He makes a great play to do that with pinched. Japer coming down immediately by Anand. That looks good to get some points, but it's left him with no vowels alongside his blank. Piotr has to dump the Q. That slows him up just a bit. That might be just enough time for Anand to dump some of these consonants and get a bingo down, especially with a nice play like bye. I wonder if he could have played Gobi or something. All right, there will be bingos here alongside the S of re-rails. Anand spots it. Trogons nearly instantaneously. And that's tough. That's a tough break for Piotr, who's been up for most of this game. Only a turn or two where Anand's held the lead, but Anand has sort of burst into the lead at the worst possible time. Oh my God, afflict on the rack, and Anand is just unstoppable here. And it looks like an unplayable Steely or Eliast on this round. Oh, it is, of course, playable, but it's not enough. Yeah, I didn't see that spot for Eliast. Wow. Okay, so that's a tough one for Piotr because he was doing great, and then the tiles just sort of ran out on him while Anand just went on quite the rush at the end of that game. So it's now 2-0 in favor of Anand to start the series, and he's drawn another blank to start game 3. So, a tricky moment here for Piotr. He's down 2-0. Anand threatening to bingo right off the bat in game 3 on his next move. And he's drawn the J and the Z on a board that has no opportunities to score with them. Yeah, I didn't do a prediction today so that people can just use the bot. Until we fix that issue with the bot, it's going to be tricky. Oh, okay. So I'm sure that there is something good here through this eye. Gideon, good morning. I can put on the glasses, and we see a double-double through 2 double-word scores of Train Men for Anand. And saw a comment from Colin in the chat that Piotr had, an issue a couple years ago where he drew so poorly at an event that it led him to quit Scrabble, which he's not drawing very well here. So hopefully that can perk up for him, or he's going to have those same urges again. It's still close. Woolier on the rack for Anand. I don't believe that fits anywhere on this board. I'm looking around. Glower is played instead. A bingo is available now through the E of Train Men. It's critical that Piotr find this bingo right now. A Tina Lal through the E. He needs to find this and convert this really ugly rack into a bingo. It gets past him. That's tough. That's a tough miss. He definitely is going to wish that he found that one there. That the double L's, double O's, really kind of unappealing low point tiles, could have turned that into a bingo and moved on from the rack. Instead, Atoll goes down. But wow, he's been bailed out a little by the Q and X. I'm sure he'll be able to do something good with these tiles. Maybe not, actually. I'm not seeing a wonderful place to play either of the 2 power tiles. It looks like the X should have some value here, but it's actually very difficult to get a play down on the board in that spot with your X. So he plays quad instead, opening the triple. Anand has no way of doing anything with that Q, and amazingly, Piotr's drawn another U. So I wonder if he's just going to... Well, first of all, this is kind of a... If he were to just fish his X somewhere, it's a really good bingo rack. Alternatively, he could play something long through the Q. He plays Sequin. I was going to suggest something else, but that's fine. But Anand has opened up a pretty nice lead. Oh, wow. Really nice play there. So Sequin, played by Piotr, draws ED and immediately plops down Sequin for 54, holding his X. Let's see, where's that X going to go? That actually helps him. Again, there's a spot here, but you can't really play anything with it. Queens. Yeah, Queens would have been very nice. Being suggested from this Q, placing a vowel in this spot right here where the X would have gone down at the top of the board instead of Sequin. That would have been really impressive to spot that possibility in a Blitz game. So no surprise, as usual, Piotr, a very fast player. Anand, maybe, up there with Ed Oculitz as maybe the fastest player that I've watched play. So Anand is just blazing fast. And you can see he's developed almost a minute of a time advantage on a very, very fast player. So it's a close game, though. This X is just really taking up space, and there finally it goes down for a good score, 41 points, giving Piotr a tiny, tiny lead. ING and an S on Anand's rack. If he can just undouble the T's and get rid of a V, he does exactly that. And I think at some point, yeah, there is a bingo. I know scenting is a word that can be played in a number of spots. There it goes. So once again, tricky situation brewing for Piotr. He's got decent bingo tiles. Board not so good for bingos. You do have a spot here. You've got the verts hooks in this spot, but Anand has drawn the second blank, gets a bingo down in the top of the board, and that's going to be it. It's going to be 3-0 for Anand so far. So Piotr's got his work cut out for him to get his way back into this game. He will go first in game 4, so hopefully he can get off on the right foot. It's going to be very frustrating for Piotr if he, has it been 6-0? It's possible. Yeah, it's possible that, and there's a 7th one. So if it's really been 6-0 in favor of Anand, Anand has already drawn the 7th blank of the series in this game. So that's tough when you run into that type of situation, but we'll see. There's still time. There's still time for a correction to occur. Anand, I have to say, has also been playing really well. There's no question about it. Very, very few misses for him. So, oh my gosh, I think there is a bingo through the E here. Incredibly. Yeah, I'm almost positive, right? There was a bingo through the E available of new waiver in that spot. That's one where if you don't know it, there's almost no way to see it. I see a couple of you guys in the chat found it really fast. Nice, good eye to you guys. Anand, too good to have been a 4 seed. Absolutely. I don't know how that happens or why his rating isn't higher enough for him to achieve a higher seed, but he's shown a really, really good ability to find his best moves really fast. A huge bingo here through the, not a bingo, but all right, Zoism was good. I was going to say Zemstvo was available through that S right there. That would have been a great play in that position. Zoism, a very strong play. Only issue is it does keep the V as well. So there was an even better play available through that S there. Piotr is still very close despite the blank bingo of sweeping by Anand. He's got an X. There should be some places to play it. Nothing actually that good. Okay, that's nice. That's a great way to play your X and V in one move and score a bunch of points. We like that. And a bingo by Piotr gives him a lead in this game. Not great tiles for Anand in response. He should be able to score pretty well. He does so with Bigly. This looks like a decent post-bingo draw here for Piotr. And he plays Dashi for a ton of points, 51 in the bottom of the board, running his lead up to over 60. And now a bingo on his rack that will play Narchi underneath Fudge or potentially somewhere else. That is looking good for Piotr, and he can make a match out of this if he holds on in this game. And another bingo works its way onto his rack. And he plays Stroller through the R of Narchi. And this game does look like it's going in the direction of Piotr Andronowski, which is much needed given that Anand is currently up 3-0 in the match. So, this is a 121 point lead for Piotr. He's got good scoring tiles, and he should finish this game off. Anand resigns, sensing that the 150 point deficit is too much. All right. Piotr on the board with a win. Anand going next, and with a weak rack, he'll have to play Aesia. He does. And that's the kind of start that Piotr is hoping he would have. So I would fully expect this match to start trending in a very even direction between these two really strong players. So let's see. Mode goes down, and I bet we will see something with this J somewhere. Jibber looks pretty good for 40. I don't think... Oh, wow, an Atropine goes down really fast in response. First bingo and a blank for Piotr in this game. Game 5. 3-1 is the match score right now in favor of Anand. Kind of good letters here. I'm looking... Analogy was not a double-double, so that's not particularly good. Yeah, it totally looked like there was something there, but I didn't see it, so maybe not. That's not proof. Okay. Now a bingo of Laneros is played by Anand to take a small lead. I bet I butchered that pronunciation. Sorry to anybody who's feeling the sound of nails on a chalkboard listening to me. Oh wow. A play of Mo goes down for Piotr and Anand with a tough rack, but an open end that saves it for Duvatine. Beautiful play. However, Piotr has the second blank. This may be the first time he's drawn both. I'm looking around for a bingo. I think Poutings is good. I want to say Poutings is good. Oh, Duvatine is not a. I'm pretty sure that's valid. It looks like a phony, but I think it is valid. If man, okay, he plays routings, so I wonder if there was anything better than that in that position. If anybody saw any better bingos, as anybody that's watched me knows, I will challenge any ing word. Oh wow, look at this. Alcoves on the rack, vocalize, playable right here for Piotr through the eye of routings. There it goes. So after Anand took a strong lead in the game, he was up by about 60 after Duvatine. Piotr has bingoed twice in a row to even the gap, and now he's got a 10-point lead. Unimpressive tiles for him here. He plays Nep to take a very small lead, but Anand now in the lead after bombing his Z for 47 points. A very back and forth game brewing here. Unappealing tiles for Piotr, all 1-point tiles, 2 N's, a U, nothing great to do with them. He plays Nail, getting as many points as he can. He did keep a U there. We'll see, maybe he'll get the Q, which is still lurking in the unseen tiles, to help him out. A D for vocalized, a really strong hook here. Unplayable 7-letter bingo, I think, on the rack for Piotr. That's frustrating, but of course the board is not very good. I would probably expect to see Gru go down, and sure enough, it does. The Q works its way onto Anand's rack. Where will he get rid of this Q on this board that doesn't slow him up? Also worth noting, a big overlap. He's drawn the other F, the IFF spot right here. Rife or something like that, and that spot will score a ton of points. Oh, wow. Incredible. Reneg. Hubert Wee with a beautiful spot. Hi, Hubert. Nice to see you, by the way. On that rack for Piotr, there was an unbelievable underlap right here. Through this E, a bingo was actually playable. That would have been incredible. Oh, a nice play by Anand. So Anand gets rid of his Q and keeps his F for this spot right here. And now Rife could potentially go down in that spot, and it's too much. Beautiful. Tremendous recognition by Anand. Getting rid of his Q, keeping hold of that FE combination, and playing Rife for 42. That's going to be too many points for Piotr to overcome in this endgame, especially with Anand holding on to EIS as the rest of his tiles. He will be able to play out with that somewhere on his next turn, almost certainly. Although this board is pretty locked down, in fact. But he will have spots right here. Yeah, there we go. So really good playing there by Anand down the stretch of the game. I'm impressed. I mean, what can you say? These guys are playing really well. Okay, back against the wall now for Piotr. Only one more loss will knock him out of the tournament, and Anand will move on to the quarterfinals, and Anand draws a blank. He will certainly be bingoing here. He plays Warping. Fortunately for Piotr, he has a pretty good rack in response. We could definitely imagine. I think Adabrin's down from the A is valid, or is that? Yeah, I always mess up. There's one word in there that's not valid. Either way, I'm sure he will have a bingo. He plays Brizant there, and Anand has a horrible rack. He will have to play something like Aura through the R of Brizant, or Brisant. However that said. Oh, Poutings was good in the last game. Okay. All right. An exchange instead of Aura. Will either player be tempted to hook an S onto this? There is no S hook here. So that's a very tempting spot that's going to have to stay unused unless players feel tempted to give it a try. All right. It's also not a great rack for Piotr. He keeps his Z, not seeing a great place to play it. And A response of bear through that open R by Anand, leaving a decently balanced leave, AEGR. We'll see if that turns into a bingo. Piotr is desperate to get rid of this Z. Oh, man. The AEGR leave pairing up with HQV, not what Anand wanted to see in this situation. He has really nowhere to use his Q in a helpful way that I can spot. And sensing that, he just plays Ver, but in response, a C play to the triple could score a ton unless there's a better J play. So Piotr, he plays Jot. He plays off his J first, holding the C. Now I would really like to see a Varric play go down in this situation, such as Cade or something like that. If he doesn't play it now, we'll know he has missed the C hook on Ver. There's still time for him to spot it. He's had a few seconds to catch his breath now. Will he spot this huge hooking play? It's going to score 50-odd points if he's able to play in that spot. That it hasn't gone down is a sign that I believe he has missed it. Yeah, there's no way he would play add in the lower corner if he spotted the C hook. He has a bingo on his rack now of Sessing. I'm not sure that plays anywhere here. Yeah, it really needs to, man, Sigs in this spot. Okay, so there's the confirmation. The C goes down in a completely different spot of the board, quietly on the rack here for Anand. Definitely not looking like that's going to play anywhere, simply because the board is really constricted. He makes a really nice play, though, of equity for 44 points. Cue the jokes about equity. That's so funny. I think Weibin made that comment before before the play of equity actually was played, or maybe that's a pun that I'm not paying as close attention to chat as usual. But yeah, we're talking about equity, and there it is. Okay, so now we do see a hook there of the S hook on Bears of Silk, 36 points. Anand is up by a pretty solid amount. Sandier or Sardine are available, and we see Piotr play one. Piotr only down by 12 right now. Again, he needs to win to preserve his winning chances in this match. And good constrictive blocking play in that move, in that position, I should say, by Anand of high. It's going to be very difficult to access big swaths of the board now, thanks to that play. An attempt to reopen it with Aue, keeping a nice leave for Piotr. Maybe he has outside chances of hitting this K of Silk right here with a bingo. Not very good chances. Oh, yeah, land-like. That would definitely be a phony that Anand might try here because it's quite plausible. Anand is going to be trying as hard as he can. Oh, man. Good bingo tiles here. But what's doing with them through the A? Oh, man, I can't see anything. Is there anything? I think Piotr is really down to the nitty-gritty here. I think I would like to see him try to open something else, some other threat. He's in trouble. There it is. He does exactly that. He opens another lane on this part of the board by playing Ohm. There's no way that I'm sure that Anand is going to play something in this spot, something like Envy, something with a Y in that spot. He plays Fly, but now a bingo does go down. Oh, man. Terrible, terrible post-bingo draw for Piotr. He draws AEOOOTU out of the bag. Anand has another blank on his rack, the second of the game. And there is no way Piotr's coming back from this. So, wow, this is going to be roughly as fast of a match as you could imagine playing. So, Auda goes down at the top. That's a nice play, 24 points. But Anand is going to score decently or go out on this move. And there's no way for Piotr to do so with OOE. Actually, that was a nice play to block Olio, possibly the only out that Piotr had. Either way, the deficit too much. He's down by 40 going into that turn. And that's it. Wow. Very, very impressive performance by Anand. That was a quick match. Yeah, it's barely been, how long have I been streaming? Half an hour. Streaming for half an hour. Yeah, just caught the end. Anand is so good at Blitz. Yeah, he really is. He rarely comes anywhere close to going overtime, which is a really, really impressive feat in this format. I pretty much go overtime every game. Um, so yeah, that was a really impressive performance. Commiserations to Piotr. That was tough. I think you can see. Wow, was that really the blank count? 9-2. That's going to be tough. And that is not to say that blanks are the only reason. Piotr had a couple. There were a couple situations here, a couple bingo misses, a play here or there that would have really turned some of these games around. Um, but yeah, that's tough. That's going to be hard to overcome.